What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? What is going on in the world of warships? How are you all doing today? Hope you're doing great. Hope you're doing great because I'm excited. And that's a good thing in World of Warships, especially as of late. We've had a lot of negative news lately, a lot of self-inflicted wounds that wargaming and World of Warships have caused upon themselves in the North American office, basically all over the place. So it's nice to move on from that and get to something that's good. Because it sucks being negative all the time, especially with a game that you absolutely enjoy playing. I know a lot of us, though, have a very love-hate relationship with the game, and it can be enjoyable, but it can also be so frustrating. But today's focus is on something I am truly excited about. And I know this news is kind of old, but I want to cover it because there have been several developments regarding this news. Several things that have just got me more and more excited for this ship line. And I'm talking about the German Battleship split. I guess it's a split. I mean, we call it a split, but really it starts at Tier 3, so is it a split, or is it really just a completely new line of battleships? And I think that's really what it is. It's a new line of battleships. It's not a split, because Tier 3 is where battleships start. So, a lot to be excited about with this line, because these are, well, at least a lot of them are battleships that existed. They're dreadnoughts, they're from World War I, and a lot of the higher tier battleships, yes, they're paper, but some of them were actually started, some of them weren't finished, so there's a lot of historical, I guess, precedent for these ships. So, Tier 3, Von der Tann, Tier 4, Moltke, Tier 5, Der Flinger, Tier 6, Mackensen, Tier 7, Prince Heinrich, 8, Zieten, 9, Prince Ruprecht, and 10, Schlieffen. And why am I so excited about these ships? I mean, I do love German battleships. Let's face it. It's one of my favorite ship lines. Kurfürst, I find enjoyable half the time now. I can still do very good in it. I think it's still a very fun ship. I mean, Pommern is up there as one of my favorites, and granted, the Pommern is a premium, but there's a lot to like in German battleships. German engineering, right? And what I'm getting to right now that has kind of been forgotten is these ships used to be very good brawlers. They used to be phenomenal secondary ships, and that just kind of hasn't existed recently. Secondaries got nerfed into the ground. However, I do find them still viable. I mean, I still enjoy going out with them, with full secondary spec ships. I've got my loot gens as a full secondary spec commander using IFHE and just about everything you could possibly use to make your secondaries better, and I have a lot of fun in it sometimes, though not as much fun as I used to have with secondary battleships. Kurfürst is very situational. You can do good in it, and then sometimes it's just an absolute dud. But what's that have to do with this new line of battleships? And you're probably thinking, Zoop, you know, secondaries are dead. Yeah, how's that going to help these ships? Well, we say they're dead, but I've been hearing a lot of rumors, and I've been doing a lot of research, and I've been watching a lot of things, and I've had my ear to the ground just listening for reverberations of these ships. And from what I'm hearing, these are secondary ships. They are secondary brawlers. And not just decent secondary brawlers. They are really good secondary brawlers. And just to emphasize on that, I have heard rumors through the grapevine from very reputable and knowledgeable sources that some of these ships are landing upwards of 1,000 secondary hits per round. 1,000. I mean, you think it only takes 150 to activate loot gens. Can you imagine landing 1,000? That's going to do some serious damage to a lot of ships. And these aren't just, you know, rumors. This is actual, I won't say documented, but this is stuff that is making its way through the grapevine. So there is a lot of buzz around these German battleships right now, and I am on this hype train right now because I love brawling in battleships. I love pushing in battleships. I hate static battleship gameplay. Though I don't have an issue with people playing that way, you know, it's all personal preference. It's not like there's one way to play every single ship. So I know we get pissed a lot at people just sitting back and sniping. Well, you know, the question is, are they doing damage? I mean, if a ship is sitting back sniping and does 200,000 damage in a round, it protects the cap, I mean, can you really be upset at that battleship? I mean, I guess I wouldn't be upset. But, of course, that doesn't happen every single round. But that's not me. I like using terrain to my advantage. I like pushing up, and I like engaging those secondaries and watching those little guns pop off. That's where I get my enjoyment in battleships, especially German battleships. And it looks like, for all intents and purposes, that is being reintroduced to the game. And quite honestly, that is going to be a shot in the arm. Now, I do have fears, based upon what I've been hearing, that the secondaries might be too strong. I'm not worried that they're too strong in that it's going to be unbalanced. I'm worried that they're going to get nerfed. Because let's face it, you know, a ship can have strong secondaries that just absolutely wreck face, but we know the player base, and not everybody's going to play a ship that way, and they're not going to spec their ship that way. I know I will, but not everybody will, so it kind of balances out in the end. I just worry that Wargaming is going to look at the data, they're going to see this, they're going to see how many secondary shots these German battleships are landing, and they're going to hit it with the nerf bat, and we're going to be back in a situation where the secondaries are marginally better than the current battleship line, or not even. But quite honestly, I would love to see the original battleship line get a buff as well, because Bismarck used to be, in my opinion, one of the best secondary battleships in the game. Not so much anymore. I don't think really any battleship can claim to be that, because secondaries just got nerfed in the ground for whatever reason. And that is probably one of the biggest travesties we have faced in this game. I mean, it just took away such a fun aspect of the game, such a viable aspect, such an important aspect, the ability to have those secondaries pop off and protect caps against destroyers and everything else. And mind you, they're still good against destroyers in some situations. I mean, Palmer, and I'm finding lately I'm getting more destroyer kills than battleship or anything else, which is just bizarre. But enough about that. Enough about lamenting the good old days, because it would appear that the good old days might be coming back, at least for German battleships. And that is something to be very excited about. And these ships also look very pretty. I mean, they have a somewhat pocket battleship type of look to them. I mean, it's based off German engineering, documents, and everything else. They're just beautiful. I mean, the Germans knew how to build ships. And they granted, you know, the low-tier battleships have that very traditional dreadnought look to them. And when you start getting towards the higher tiers, you got a very sleek, almost cruiser-esque look, as you've got a lot of dual guns. You don't have the triple guns that the original line has. These are all dual guns, which I'm sure that is deliberate because of the secondaries. I'm sure they want less rounds going down range because you're going to have more secondaries hitting. So just keep that in mind as we go forward with these. And the key features of these, according to Warships, World of Warships devblog, is few main caliber guns with low range by class standards and better accuracy than most battleships. The availability of torpedoes with a high range, a large number of secondary guns with high accuracy, low visibility, hydroacoustic, and fast damage control teams, so they're going to be limited, much in the way that some of the Russian ships are. It's not going to be your standard damage control party. But these ships are going to be made to get in, undetected, pop themselves into range, and just light ships up with accurate main guns and secondaries. I mean, a lot of players are going to enjoy this type of playstyle. A lot of players are going to enjoy these ships and have a lot of fun in these ships. And I'm really excited about this line. I can't wait. I'm happy that Wargaming has gone this route with German battleships. And I know a lot of players don't like paper ships, and I tend to hate paper ships as well, but paper ships done right do complement the game, especially when based in history. Granted, Kearsarge is based in history as well, and I wish that thing would wind up at the bottom of the ocean. I don't want to see it, but I'm happy with this line. And I'm happy with the direction that Wargaming took in World of Warships, and I'm happy that they listened to the player base that was pissed that secondaries got nerfed and taken away. So, while this doesn't totally make up for it, kudos to Wargaming and World of Warships for this line. I'm excited to get my hands on these ships and play them. I think a lot of players are. So, there we go. Things to look forward to. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Of course, this tunnel is very, very long, and the light is very, very dim, but fun can be found. Anyhow, I want to know your thoughts on this ship line. Are you excited about these battleships? Are you looking forward to them? Let me know in the comment section of this video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will catch you all later. Zoop out.